Understanding the internal workings of a desktop computer is an essential skill for an IT technicians and enthusiasts alike. The process of disassembly and assembly provide valuable insights into hardware configuration and troubleshooting. However, before we begin, let's prioritize safety and best practices. Thus, we must follow and know our proper occupational health and safety. The workplace must be well organized to work properly. You must have a presence of mind. You must be in a good condition. Always use electrostatic discharge upon handling a motherboard. Always use electrostatic pad. Never operate a live PC to prevent electrostatic shock. Hold the memory under edges, not under pins. Do not forcefully put the cards if it doesn't fit with the slot. Never put the cards when the computer is powered on. Upon assembling a computer unit, always follow first in, last out, and last out, first in. Always handle computer components with care. Use proper tools. And lastly, read first the user's manual. Disassembling a desktop computer is often necessary for upgrades, cleaning, and/or troubleshooting. So now let's begin. You have to remove the side panels first. Usually, these are secured by thumb screws or regular screws. Keep track of screws and small parts. Place them on an organized workspace, and you may put labels of each component where it was connected so you can easily aid your reassembly later on. Note the placement of cables. Take photos for references if needed, and start disconnecting internal cables carefully. For storage devices, disconnect and remove hard drives and/or optical drives. Once you have detached all the power supply cables from each of the motherboard components, you may now remove the power supply box from the computer chassis. Now, we are removing the motherboard. We have to unscrew the motherboard, lifting it with care once all screws are removed. For the memory or RAM, release the clips on either side of the RAM modules and gently remove them. With the disassembly complete, you're ready for cleaning, upgrades, or repairs. In the next video, we'll cover the equally important process of reassembling your computer. Before we move on to the computer assembly, let's discuss and identify first some of the motherboard parts and components that are essential for a computer to work. Audio ports. These are color-coded jacks for speakers, headphones, and microphones. USB ports. These are universal ports for connecting a vast range of devices like keyboards, mice, printers, and external storage. This is VGA port. It transmits analog video signals to a monitor. PS2 ports. This is the purple and green circular ports for older keyboards and mice. Accelerated Graphics Port, or AGP. This is a parallel expansion card standard designed for attaching a video card to a computer system to assist in the acceleration of 3D computer graphics. And for the older systems, the PCI slots, these are legacy slots for less demanding expansion cards. This is the South Bridge chip. The main purpose of this is to handle the input and output functions of the computer. It acts as a bridge between the central processing unit and other peripheral devices, facilitating communication and data transfer. This is the L-shaped ports or the SATA ports. This allows you to connect storage devices like hard drives and SSDs to the motherboard. And here goes the CMOS battery. It preserves the BIOS settings, including the system date and time even when your computer is powered off. Memory slots. These slots are for installing RAM modules, which provide the system with a short-term memory for running programs. And now for the power connectors. This is where you connect the main power cable from the computer supply unit to the power of the motherboard. And it has 20 or 24 pin connectors. Storage devices. While not technically on the motherboard, hard drives and SSDs are your computer storage, like those long-term filing cabinets for your files and programs. Now for the RAM. RAM or random access memory is where the computer stores programs and data that are currently in use for fast access. Assembling your own desktop computer is an empowering and insightful experience. Today, we'll walk through the process, transforming these individual components into a functional system. Remember our first in, last out, and last out, first in rule when assembling a computer. Gently place the RAM module on the memory slot. Make sure it will fit on the slot. Remember not to touch the pin on the RAM, instead, hold them on their edges. In this demo unit, the storage should be placed on the side panel of the chassis. The small metal frame shown on this video is called the I/O shield. Gently place it back on the back panel of the chassis. Now, attach the motherboard back into the chassis. Make sure all the screws are properly set in. Once the motherboard is set, start putting back the power supply unit and make sure all the cables are intact. Screw the power supply unit and arrange the cables neatly so it won't get tangled to other cables inside the chassis. Insert the power supply cables firmly on the connector pins. Now, all the rest of the cables, such as the SATA and all others, need to be inserted properly to their designated slot. Moreover, place the front panel system back in its area and ensure the cables will be inserted to the correct pins. And finally, once every motherboard components are set, you are ready to finish the process by putting back the side panel and securing it with screws. And there you have it. Thank you so much for watching this video.